I'd like to use a couple C words.
But these are probably positive C words because we're trending up, right? As you see in the thumbnail. Yeah, your microphone's way over there.
Andy? Halloween week. Candy.
Oh,
it is. C word he should use.
Candy, yeah. Yes, it is Halloween week. We don't even have a show on Halloween, but we'll talk about that later. Stars. We actually have a daily show because we had 4 games last week. We have 2 this week. 2 daily shows. Let's start one of them right now here on DLLS. Hey, everybody, this is the DLLS Stars podcast for Monday, October 27th, alongside Craig Ludwig, Sam Nestler, Sean Shapiro, who is right over there. There he is. I'm Owen Newkirk. And, of course, our producer is Ryan Vaughters. Before we get into all of the agenda for today's show, let's talk about the new T-shirts that we unveiled last week at DLLS. It's called the Face Off Collection. Check those 2 out. These are the newest hockey shirts in our DLLS merchandise catalog. We're going to talk more about why and what and all the reasons you should get that, but those are fantastic looking. Go to alldls.com now. You can get them. If you're a diehard, you get 20% off. If you haven't signed up to be a diehard, sign up. You can get one of those for free for signing up for your annual subscription. All right. Interesting week, guys. We had 4 Stars games last week. We have 3 this week. It just keeps on rolling. They're in the middle of 7 games in 12 days. They'll have 2 days off after Saturday's game in Florida. And then guess what? Another stretch of 7 games in 12 days. This schedule is ridiculously condensed because of the Olympics. It's going to be like this all year long. But let's talk about last week, and then we'll do our 3 stars of the game. Then we'll look at this week's games. And if we have any time left, there's some very interesting NHL news and notes out there, but if we get that far. So let's start with the ugliest game of the week, which was the first game of the week, which was the Columbus Blue Jackets game. If you saw the list of Blue Jackets, Kings, Hurricanes at home, and then road at Nashville before the week started, I would have said, well, you're going to win the Columbus game. They're not doing very well. They're struggling. That's a team you're going to feast on, especially after losing at home to the Canucks and at St. Louis. And what happens, I think, was the Stars' worst performance of the season so far.
They were probably thinking the way you were, right? And probably shouldn't have been thinking remotely close to that the way that the games were unfolding from the start of the year until just most recently. They seem to be getting it together. So, yeah, it was. I would say it would be a disappointing loss, but you know, when you listen to the coaches, they know that there's a process that they're going through, and they're getting obviously a little bit closer now. And they, at that moment, they're still in the middle of that. But anytime people call them trap games and things like that. A trap is something you're unaware of. I mean, I don't think that they're unaware of their opponent and they know the opponents. But for some reason, it happens more often than not.
They gave up 2 goals in the first period. It was a blah start. Then Tyler Seguin got a tip-in goal in the second from Blackwell and Ernie. It was the one good thing that came out of the game from a Stars perspective was some chemistry from that line. As Glenn Gullitson jumbled the lines, we get Blackwell, Ernie, and Seguin, and they look good. And Blackwell made a great pass to Seguin for that goal. It's 2-1. You're thinking, okay, this team's going to get going now. And then they gave up 3 third-period goals, including the empty netter. And it was not pretty at all. They had chances to tie it. But, Sean, I'm curious because you're the goalie expert. I know this is the Stars podcast. But was that the best you've seen Elvis Merzlikins play in quite some time?
Indoors. Yeah. I mean, I think the last time I saw him play well was the outdoor game against, thought he played pretty well in the outdoor game.
That was at the Horseshoe, wasn't it? Last year?
That was at the Horseshoe. So, yeah. So, I mean, that's been, you talk about a goalie situation you don't want to be in. He got that big contract and has played the way he has. And it is, Yeah, that was probably the best game we've seen Elvis play in a long time. And I don't know, it goes back to the comment we talked about last night where someone was like, why do backup goalies or bad goalies always play well against Dallas? I mean, it was also from an entire team perspective, like the Stars were not good against the Blue Jackets. Let's be clear on that. But I thought that was also a Columbus team sending a message in a statement game. We talked about measuring sticks. So I think that's another important element to that game to give some credit to Columbus. And now we can go back to piling on what Dallas did. Or did not do.
Luds, you played with Dean Evison with the Stars back in the day. We've saw him as a head coach in Minnesota and get a little rattled with the media a couple years ago. They were complaining about penalties. Pete DeBoer was saying, well, we'll just keep scoring power play goals. And ultimately, I thought Pete was the better of the two coaches dealing with the press in that series. But obviously what we saw Dean do last year with the Johnny Gaudreau tragic death and his brother, and then that whole season, and they needed to get right because they had a horrible start to the year, and yet they knew and realized that you can't just pick up from last year, and the Stars are dealing with that as well. You cannot, no matter how good you are, just roll from one season to another and think it's going to be exactly the same without going through it.
Yeah, and you've heard some of the greatest players that have great seasons and don't do well in the playoffs. And what comes to mind is Connor McDavid from a few years ago. He had all his teammates come into town early, and they're going to start training earlier and all this other kind of stuff. And they get off to a poor start. It's strange how it happens. And I just think that that you don't pick up where you left off from having a good season, but for some reason, it's in your head somewhere, and you just think it's automatically going to get going. We've seen it here, and these are good teams here. But when you bring up Dino does not look like a happy guy on the bench when he's coaching. He looks like he's pissed off at something all the time.
But doesn't he always look that way?
But that's the way he played. Like, Dino played that way, and he's not a big guy. I mean, him and Sam, if they were standing next to each other, not that Sam's a little person, but see, for once I did something correct. I said something
very
correct.
Politically correct.
And very nice.
But what I'm saying is Dino's a small guy, but he played like a bigger guy, and I think that's pretty much normal. I can only speak of hockey players. Some of the diminutive players in the league
very nicely done,
very hard to play against,
yes.
And they got that pissed off kind of attitude when they play, and that's why you love those guys. But Dino, as a person, totally different. Super guy, nice personality, laughing all the time. But for some reason, when he'd put the gear on and when he's behind the bench, he has that demeanor. Now, never had him as a coach, so I don't know what
he has. That
like.
Look about him, right? He looks like he just has that icy, steely look where you're like, oh, don't mess with that guy.
It's almost like Torts. I mean, Torts isn't a big guy either, but he has that personality.
It's almost like the rage is coming out.
Yeah, it's just like it's that I don't like losing mentality even more. From
you don't know Torts real well, right? I think
not real well, no.
But the times I've interviewed him, like you can see there's a real genuine. I know we're getting up. This is Blue Jacket. Like Torts can be super authentic. I mean, I think he always is authentic, but he can be really nice and welcoming. Mm-hmm. But there is a gear that these types of coaches can switch on.
Well, you can tell he doesn't like losing. I mean, it's obvious. He doesn't like losing, and his interviews are all about that. But when he wins and it's a good game, he could be kind of like, the coach in Florida for a while. You know what I mean? Like he can go on and on and on, and things are great. But there's times when he's not in a good mood. They are very short. I mean, they're literally. And Sean, I don't know if you've ever had an opportunity to interview Torts at all, on a one-on-one basis or not, but he can be short when he needs to be.
He can. I also have a Dean Evison story that is not going to look good for me, but I will tell this Dean Evison story. So, 2016, the AHL All-Star Game is in Syracuse, New York. I went to the AHL All-Star Game in Syracuse, New York, and I had a flight out to return from Syracuse to Austin. My flight was at 6 a.m. out of the Syracuse airport, which
I did
connect.
A couple weeks ago.
It was, yeah. And so the AHL had set up a shuttle at 4:15 for me to make it to the airport. I went out the night before, and I am not as resilient as Luds, let's say, and so I missed that 4:15 time. The only other person on the 4:15 shuttle was Dean Evison, and so Dean had to wait for some loser idiot, me, and eventually they just left without me, of course. But
how did you find out about this?
How did I find out that I missed the shuttle?
No, how did you find out that he was on the shuttle?
Because you could see the list, like you signed up for the names and you knew who was on the shuttle. And so I woke up and I woke up frantically at like 6:15 for when my flight had left 15 minutes earlier, and
just missed the shuttle.
Just missed the shuttle. And so then I called. I went down to the front desk and I'm talking and I'm trying to find a flight, and it's very hard to find a flight from Syracuse to Austin, to be clear. So it's not like there's many of them. And so then I asked and later I get the shuttle driver. I went over to the airport at like 11 and I had to get the shuttle driver to give me a ride over there. And I asked him like, well, he's like, oh, you were the guy who missed the first one, huh? I'm like, yeah. He's like, yeah. The other guy did not want us to wait for you. So
Can you imagine crossing Dean Evison at 4:15 in the morning?
Yeah, a little ball of hate.
Hey, Kayla in the chat said, this is for Sam because he's a big fan of The Office. Says, Dean kind of looks like Creed from The Office. Do you agree?
I can see it.
Yeah. A little younger.
Yeah.
But I agree.
Okay.
I love it.
All right,
Creed Bratton, who plays Creed Bratton in The Office. By
yes.
the
Writer of the show.
No kidding.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful. All right, let's talk about the LA game. I actually thought the Stars were way better in that. And the reason why I'm glad you guys talked about Torts and Dean Evison that way is, on a quick side note, I think that Pete DeBoer versus Glenn Gulutzan is very different when it comes to how he handles the media, right? Pete was very generous with talking to us, and we answered all the questions, but there was, and especially at the end, some moments where he was a little more testy or feisty or whatever, combative. I'm sure that Glenn Gulutzan has that, but Sam, especially because you're there a lot, Gully, even in this 3-game losing streak, a 4-game winless streak that they've now turned around into a 3-game point streak, he just seems more jovial. He seems to be very personal. I'm not taking this as a front to the other guys, coaches that we talked about, but it genuinely seems to be quite pleasant to talk to Gully. It doesn't seem like he's reluctantly showing like, well, this is part of the job, I have to do it. He's explaining things. He's happy to say, well, we talked about this yesterday. Remember this? Like he's really plugged into that. Do you feel like that's an accurate portrayal of the media interaction with Gully?
Yeah, I do. I think he's super honest too, is the way I would describe it. Like first time I met him was at the golf tournament, and he talked to me and Robert for like 20 minutes before, so much so that I think he was getting called over to have to do something, and he was hanging out with us too long. So he's just always kind of been that way from the beginning here. And as you said, we're not in the, losing 8 in a row or losing a playoff series type of intensity yet, but there's some bumpy times there early in the season, and he just
with a lot of pressure on this team
and
expectations.
He just comes out in that same way no matter what. And I got to see him on the road in Denver after that, which was a win, but a pretty terrible game for the team. And he was honest about it. He didn't say, we got the 2 points. He immediately said that that's a game where our coach does not feel very good about it, and he's just very forward about it. And I don't know if you saw, I think it was practice the other day on the optional practice. Mike Heika asked him, I think, who would you have dinner with? Anybody in history. And Glenn took like 3 minutes to think about it. As funny as that sounds and stupid, he's giving an honest answer no matter what you're asking him. Instead of just, kind of pushing it along, let's get this out of the way. And he might start to do that because his media on practice day has started to turn into 10 minutes.
What was his answer? Sam, what was his answer?
His first answer was his mom, because his mom passed away. So he wanted to have dinner with his mom one more time. But he said in history, he's big into stoicism.
Yep.
So he's wanted to have some Roman type of stoic someone that he could learn from.
Socrates
was his answer. Yeah, I don't know if he gave a real one, but my point is
I don't know if it was real. It might have been a fake Roman.
Yeah, I don't know. But
I would like to know his fake Roman stoic.
I just think it's fun to listen because you feel like you can ask more questions, and Sean knows as good as anyone when you're in a scrum or in a post game press conference, you can feel the tension from the coach pretty easily.
Yes.
And Pete was one where even when he was in a good mood, you're still thinking, should I ask this question? With Glenn, it feels like you can be open, and even if it's a dumb question, he's going to give you an answer.
Gully's personality suits this generation of players a little bit better. And I'm not saying other coaches don't, but I think that Gully can have a conversation, and he doesn't come off the way some other coaches would come off. So I just think that these guys are all different, especially the younger guys coming into the league now. They're a little bit more, you got to do a little bit more of that. And so having a conversation with them. You know what I mean? And I think Paul Maurice is that kind of guy too. Like from what I understand, is when players come in and you get to a new team, he doesn't want to talk to you about hockey. He wants to talk about your family, and all this kind of stuff.
When Gully was here the first time, so it was 2011 through 2013. How much interaction did you have with him when you were part of the TV broadcast?
Yeah, enough, but enough that it was like you could tell he was young, like young in the field.
Yeah,
and he was in a poor situation. You know what I mean, with everything that was going on around.
But you know what really strikes me is that all these years later now, the expectation, the pressure, and the media bombardment doesn't seem to have pushed him back and be more guarded. He still is pleasant and forthcoming, because like Sean will remember when Jim Montgomery was first coach of the Dallas Stars, he was super happy-go-lucky. He literally handed us a printed out copy of the line combination for the first preseason game.
He answered my phone call. It
Yeah.
was the whole my favorite early Jim Montgomery before he was. So his first season behind the Stars bench, I'm talking to him about how the whole travel situation, and we travel for a little bit here and there, and he's like, oh well, if you're ever not there, if you're ever not at a game, I'll just text you after the game and we'll talk. And I'm like, great. and so it happened for about 4 or 5 games until he got said. He's like, well, apparently NHL coaches have to talk to the GM, they have to talk to the players, they have to do all this other stuff at the game. I didn't realize all these things I had to do at the game.
But those players, and Monty, like from the older guys, I was grabbed early in Montreal, and it was in my first season, and it may have been halfway through to the end of the season, and Red grabbed me, Red Fisher, and I know Sean obviously knows him, and I don't know, Sam, do you know Red Fisher? Yeah, I don't think you would. He was one of the legend reporters in hockey. Anyway, his comment to me was, and he liked me, and he goes, Luds, I just want you to know, reporters are your friends, and if you don't treat them right, they can be your enemies, because we have the last say. It's the power of the pen, so to speak. And I think that when you talk about Monty can't kind of come up in that, so he knows that. And Hitch was like that too. Hitchcock would be such a one person to us, and then he'd start doing interviews, and you're like, is that the same guy?
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that, because we have a super chat. Let's get to on the other side of the ad break a specific question for you about Ken Hitchcock. So let's do that next.
Is it from Willy Wonka or whatever?
It's not Willy Wonka. Here on the DLS Stars podcast.
My read, right? Just to double check.
Let's go.
All right, Shady Rays. You know that moment. The one where you realize you left your favorite sunglasses at the bench or on the roof of your car, or maybe at the gas station. And we've all been there. I've been there. I would love to tell a funny story about the time I lost sunglasses, but it'd be too embarrassing. So because I use Shady Rays, I was able to change the game. They're made for real life. They're good looking, polarized, durable, and not stupidly expensive. And here's the wild part. If you lose or break them, even on day one, Shady Rays will send you a brand new pair. No guilt trip, just replacements. That pair that Owen talks about that he has with Luds, if Luds was to snap them right now, they would send him another one. So Shady Rays is the eyewear that has your back, and remember that. So we've teamed up with Shady Rays to bring you an exclusive offer. Head to shadyrays.com and use the code DLLS35 for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself for the shade rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people.
Man, spot on.
That was
well done, Sean.
Beautiful. And what if I told you that this episode was brought to you by Prize Picks? You and I and Luds and Owen and Ryan and everyone make decisions every day. But if you use Prize Picks, being
Not
right
very good ones.
can get you paid. Prize Picks is simple, easy to use. Don't miss any of the excitement of football this season, where it's good to be right on Prize Picks. It's simple. Just pick more or less on at least 2 player stats. If you get your picks right, you could cash in. Simple as that. Prize Picks is the only app that offers stacks, meaning you can pick the same player up to 3 times in the same lineup. You want to pick more on Josh Allen, which why wouldn't you? You can pick him all of the same lineup only on Prize Picks. Download the Prize Picks app today and use the code DLS to get $50 in lineups when you place your first $5 lineup. That's code DLS to get $50 in lineups after you place your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right.
Sam's back.
Did you lose your spot there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
There was
It
that
happens,
was
Sam.
that was a
can't-
long pause,
I can't
wasn't
read
it?
sometimes.
Two.
No.
No. Shirt 2? Oh. Our GM Ben, who's just off the screen, is letting us know that somebody else just purchased one of the Face Off collection T-shirts.
Oh,
Luds
no.
will get to that in a few minutes. We have a Bing Bong, a super
Is that-
chat.
did you say 2?
Here we go. Hold on. Focus. Go ahead and put that on the screen. Burned oils with a.
Listen, who's telling me to focus over here? The
Well,
guy that
that's-
get drifting
we
all over the
always
place.
have to. We have a Nils Lundqvist and a. I'm trying to think. 36. Do you guys have a off your top of your head? I'll have to look it up. Anyway, question for Luds.
That right-handed Swedish defenseman wore 36.
Right-handed.
Sam, focus. Owen wants you to
Larson.
focus.
Philip
Ludwig
Larson.
Weissman. Ludwig Weissman.
There, Beestrom. There we go. Question for Luds. Did you find Ken Hitchcock to be more patient with the players than people would expect when things weren't going well?
No. No. I don't want to say that that
We'll
Hitch.
see you guys tomorrow.
Yeah. No, I mean, Hitch was very demanding how we were supposed to play, and you needed to get it, and you needed to get it quick. But that was all in a good way because he knew what we could do if we all come together in that way. Now, I will say that when you talk to Hitch away from the game, he's a different person. I think that he's a very nice man. And he loves the reporters. He's a good guy, but I think that from a patience standpoint, in the heat of everything, you needed to get it, and you needed to get it as quick as you can. And again, in my opinion, that's the way it should be. I have no problem. You're probably asking the wrong guy because I appreciate that because with our 17, 18-year-old kids, I don't like it when you don't get it after we tell you 4 or 5 times. You keep doing the same thing over and over again, And so, but that's just the way it is now, So, Hitch was a good guy for our generation. I don't know how he would be with this, but from what I understood is he had to alter the way that he spoke with players as he continued to move on, and he knew he had to adjust, and he did.
Sam, do you want to go ahead?
I was just
Jump in.
confirming with I Love Misty. I know we missed the super chat, I think, the other day, so I'm just gonna
Before you read it,
yeah.
I want to add just
Hey, Sam, go ahead and go, but stop.
No. This is important. So this has happened a couple of times now.
Yes, it's
And I
happened twice
want
in the last
to
minute.
make sure people know we love your super chats, but sometimes people are putting them in before the show goes live for post game,
Yes.
and it's disappearing once we go live,
Yes.
so we don't see it. It's not that we missed it or ignored it. It's not there. So even though you paid for it, it happened before. So just wait to do your super chats until the post game show starts, or regular daily show or something, or pregame. Sam, please go ahead.
Why do I get this quizzical look from our GM sitting?
When you hear Luds say something,
Luds.
it's usually you. To start the show when you hear, I have some C words I want to say. There's a certain type of milkshake you didn't know you could say. That's right. Oh, hi, I can say.
Sweaty milkshakes.
What does DCS mean?
See, I didn't say that to
Says
start
Luds
with. Everybody
looking forward to
understands
meeting
that. It was
fans at
written on the
DCS.
screen or something like that. I was just asking permission. Bitches.
That's a great question.
All right, I'm just going to read it.
Yeah.
So from I Love Misty, I don't know if we missed another one, so if we did, please let us know. But from, I think it was last night, right as we were signing off, I Love Misty says, Luds, are you looking forward to meeting fans at DCS?
Am I looking for
What does
who?
DCS mean?
Oh, is that the card signing that you're going to?
Maybe.
Is that called DCS?
Dallas Card Show.
There it is.
Are you looking forward to
Can't believe
meeting
I pulled
fans
that.
at the Dallas
Where did
Card
that come
Show?
from?
Good
Oh
job,
yeah,
everybody.
I did the same one. I think it was in Jersey. I think it's the same company, but yeah, it's a big deal. I mean,
A lot of people.
Rodman was there, Tyson was there, LT, Lawrence Taylor
You
was
saw
there.
Holyfield there too, didn't
Yeah,
you?
well, and what?
Second
Yeah,
biggest in the
yeah,
country.
wow.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, well, they kind of they screwed me a little bit on mine. I got in the day before at about 4 p.m. I didn't know anybody. I didn't know what was going on. I just thought it was me and whoever else. I get there the next day for the show. We had to be there like 10 o'clock in the morning to start this thing. It takes a couple hours to do it. But anyway, all of a sudden I look and there's Carbo. There's Neuendijk. There's Madano. There's Zubov from Russia. And then I saw all the other guys. I'm like, wait a second. How come I didn't know about all these guys? Nobody ever told me about them, that being there. They were all there yesterday, but at a different hotel. So they kind of, what do you call it? Sequestered?
You're so close to sequestered.
Sequestered. They sequestered me way out in the woods in Jersey, and everybody else was in the same place, and I never got to see them that night before. So I was a little disappointed in that.
Hey,
but
Sean,
a lot of those guys are coming in for this also.
I want to explain to Sean the inside joke. That's the second time that Sam has said parody, and you probably don't have any idea. We were having a conversation with Ben yesterday, and I think Ryan, up with the Cowboys and Mavs guys, because we had lots of sports going on in the lounge. Sam's going to leave now because he's going to get embarrassed. He was yesterday years old when he realized that parody, as in a spoof of something, and parity means balance around a group, like a league, things that are about even. He didn't realize that parity and parody were two different words with different meanings and pronunciations.
Wait.
Yeah,
seriously?
I know. Seriously. Yes, I know.
Wait. No, wait. You're serious right now.
Which is why the chair's empty right now. Poor Sam.
Wait.
I have no idea what's going on here.
Let's
I
go
don't
to
even
another
know the
super
words
chat.
you guys are talking about. So me and Sam should just sit in a different room and do these shows.
GM Ben with a DeSmith 99 cup here. Luds, how much for you to take a punch from Mike Tyson?
If I got a lawyer standing next to me, I don't care. I mean,
how much? What fee would you collect to be on the receiving end of Iron Mike Tyson? This is Luds Damn Discord right here.
I don't think I'm down for that. To be honest with you, I still got a few good years left in me. I'd like to remember them. How much?
You got him thinking. How much dinar do you need?
$2 million. I think it's got to be more. He can afford more.
More than $2 million to take a punch.
Yeah, I said no to start with. Now you got my interest.
See, there is a number.
The problem is
there's a number.
The problem is I'm not going to be allowed around or anything or even know that I could spend that money. So basically, you're asking me how much would my kids be willing to take?
10 million.
10 million sounds good.
Hey, we're in. We got a price.
Now we got at Hooters.
Are we talking Tyson Prime or Tyson like last year when he fought
I'll
Jake
take
Paul?
Tyson.
Well, you
right
can't
now.
go back in a time capsule. We're talking today.
I think we're today years old. Yeah.
And the good news
Tyson right
is
now.
he'll probably be stoned. If I just did that, maybe he'll miss me. And he only gets one swing.
I mean, he didn't knock out a YouTuber.
He didn't?
No, Jake Paul, the Jake Paul fight.
I didn't
even put him on the ground.
No, wait a second.
So
you buy that whole thing?
I'm just saying.
No, wait a second. You buy that whole thing? Oh, come on.
They had pillows on their
went
hands.
from-
really big gloves.
No,
Take a punch from Mike Tyson.
that was an awful display. I felt bad for Tyson.
We've gone
bad.
completely off the
He
rails.
had to hold back.
Who was the hardest puncher you ever took a punch from in the NHL?
Ooh, great question.
Probably Probert.
Bob Probert.
Yeah, that was a mistake. Yeah.
You weren't on the wrong side of your former teammate, right? Knuckles?
No. What do you mean?
He was at Nyland. He was your teammate, right?
Yeah.
You never were on the wrong side of that. I mean, you did leave Montreal.
Well, kind of. A whole different story on that. It's kind of a longer story. It was our first intramural game where we're the only two Americans, and hey, we got each other's back. And he was on the other team in our where you play against each other in training camp, and he just came and jumped me. And I was laying on my back like that, and I said, Nux, I thought you said the Americans stick together. He goes, oh, that doesn't count out here. So that was kind of my first lesson being a pro.
Hey, before this becomes a parody of a DLS Stars
I like
podcast,
that.
I'm going to get
I
up
like
so
it.
Sam can come back and give some parity to all of our hosts so they all get their time in.
And you know what? We're about to talk about the face-off collection again, so that's perfect timing on that. Luds.
Sam, I think they were making fun of you while you were gone, but I'm not sure. 'Cause
there's
I don't
no
even know what
doubt.
was going
We
on.
were definitely making fun of Sam.
But I
Here he is.
told him I'm in your camp. 'Cause
I
I don't
would.
know.
Wow, the seat is
We're
warm.
talking about a
Oh,
parakeet. And
Hey, Luds,
It was fun
Ardell.
of me? Look at
Hey,
Everybody's
Ardell said he
coming out of
just
the
bought
peanut gallery
the
here today.
green
Look at
Enjoy
everyone.
DLS text. Oh no, that counts.
Doesn't
It's
count.
part. We are live.
Dude, see, the people that are going to be at the Hooters event or the
Ben
hockey
says
game
thank
event,
you, Ardell.
whatever, this
Can
is
you
what
guys
they're
tell
all
that we
gonna
haven't been able to do a
experience.
weekday show in a while?
This is what's going to happen when you come
We
to
got
the
another
Hooters
one on
event.
Wednesday too.
Is
All
it?
right,
Oh,
Ben is we're
shirts
buying
while
the
Ben was
shirts.
here.
We're getting closer to us. Let's talk about it.
I'm going to have to take a loan out for this
Let's
thing.
do that right now. Might as well. DLS Stars podcast ad break. Luds time.
So all we're doing is we're revisiting the shirts here now, which are very nice shirts. I mean, the Dallas hockey one is awesome. And
I think it's very nice.
We're still trying to. Is that supposed to be an A up there with the 3 stars?
It looks like
has
it's
to be
in an A. Yeah,
Got to be an A. So, or is it a star? It could be a star.
I think it's a little bit of both.
So here's the big joke is because Luds said something about if we get to the number of 25 shirts sold, and now apparently Ben is over here keeping track.
He is.
And we need 20 more. 20 more? Oh, we'll never get there. Now I feel better. So if we hit
like
25, everybody that's going to be at Hooters. Ben, what happens if they show up at Hooters with a shirt, but they weren't part of the deal?
That's up to you, Luds. It's coming out of your tab.
Okay. If you wear one of these shirts to the Hooters event,
I'm going to get wasted.
I'm buying
on
the
your
beer.
tab. I'm drinking
Can't believe I'm doing
15,
that.
16
I'm buying the
beers.
beer, so buy 20 more of these shirts.
There you go.
And listen, I just did my part. I'm at 58 seconds. Go ahead.
AllDLS.com is where you can get it. You can also go to alldls.com/newsletter. Just kidding.
Nope, not that one.
Just kidding. You go to YouTube and join the Supporters Club because the Supporters Club is where it's at. Looking at the chat right now, I'm seeing some beer mugs being cheers. I'm seeing a couple Luds emojis. I'm seeing the Stanley Cone. Lots of good stuff in there, and you can join it too. Join a Supporters Club for true sicko level stuff. You'll get not only those exclusive emojis I was just talking about, plenty of them, and the more people that join, the more we add to the list.
Do you want to tease the behind the scenes content we filmed
Sure.
yesterday?
We also have behind the scenes video coming out. I don't know when, but Ryan seems to know.
This evening.
This
Ooh,
evening there will be
tonight.
a video. So tonight you get a behind the scenes video, Halloween themed.
Yeah, we had some fun yesterday.
And
in
Luds
the
is
studio.
involved in multiple facets, so that's worth it
I
right
think
there.
you had to bleep out half of his answers.
that's where it's at.
I don't have to bleep out anything.
Oh, you could do it, and it's uncensored.
Wait, are you saying this is uncensored? Luds?
Uncensored.
Really?
Yeah.
For the supporters
If you
club
aren't part of the
behind-the-scenes
supporters
videos.
club and you want to see an uncensored Luds,
Do
you
it.
need to sign up
No,
now.
that's that. I was being polite. I was being nice in it.
Luds,
Like,
but they don't have to
you
beep
don't
them
have
out
to.
in
you
that
want to
video.
see uncensored Luds? We'll buy
Go to-
20 more
go to-
shirts.
yeah,
go to
go to
Hooters.
Come to Hooters.
All right. Speed round because we have a lot to get to and we've been having some fun. LA game, Carolina game, and of course Nashville yesterday. Luds, your thoughts of the way the team played over the last 3? Because it felt like for me they were trending up. Yeah,
Like that.
look at that.
That's the line. That's the line, but the line can get stagnant. So again, 8, 9, 10 games in, when you get to 20, 25, hopefully we're going to be more where there's a steady diet of it. I'll say this again. What Gully is hoping for is you're able to put a game on top of the game on top of the game. It's not going to be perfect. It's going to be a little while till they get this all sorted out. They are getting to the point now. Now I've been restricted from number of videos that I'm going to try to show everybody, so I can't show you what I'd like to show you. I'm got my handcuffs on now, so but if I could, and what I need to look at, and that's mainly because it's too much work on our new producer, and we do not want him to leave.
We
'cause
don't
there
wanna
are
burn him out
There are
already.
no more producers left, so we're cutting everything back. Oh no!
Woo!
What?
Keep it going.
Sold another shirt.
Sold another shirt. Keep them going.
I got. Can
It was-
Can
I
the
think it
power
was,
go
I think
out
it
or
was
something?
TO.
So anyway, what I'm saying is I believe that it may not be that exciting team that you saw from a couple years ago where we were scoring 5, 6 goals a game. I go back to my years in Montreal and people said, man, you guys are boring. You only score 2, 3 goals a game. And I said to them, would you rather have us win and be in the playoffs and have success there or lose 5-3? And it was, no, we want you to win. So that's what they're trying to get to here. They're trying to get to the point where they can win hockey games when maybe your best players aren't in the lineup. Maybe your best players aren't able to cash in. They don't feel good that night, but you can play the certain kind of style that allows one of the best goaltenders in the league to not have to make 10 bell saves, 3 or 4 of them per period.
Talk about overreacting, Sean, because when it was a 3-game losing streak, a 4-game winless streak, people were starting to worry that this team just didn't have it. To be fair,
They wanted Gully fired.
yeah,
Some people
somebody
wanted Gully
actually
fired.
tweeted as mistake to hire Gully. But now you're looking at, and Ryan had the record up on this stat scroll earlier. It was 5-3-1 in the first 9 games. Win or lose tomorrow against the Washington Capitals, they will have a above 500 point percentage after the first 10 game segment. Considering all the changes and the injuries, that's not that bad, is it?
You can't make the playoffs in October, but you can miss them. So that's really you take a look at from where the Stars' perspective, they're in a fine spot. They've set a platform that they can work from, and you don't want to be like, think about where things are for Calgary right now, right? Like you look at bottom of this, like Has Calgary
They're
won a
talking about
second?
cratering.
Yeah, but no, but my point being is like their sky is falling, and there is actual teams where the sky has fallen in this league, and then there's
The sky is falling.
yes, exactly, and then there's I didn't get my premium parking spot complaints right now. So like that's what the Stars are fine. They're in a good kind of. They went through some adversity that they built off of. We're going to talk about how maybe that goes into the next couple things as well, I think. This is exactly where, honestly, this whole season it's everything, as Luds knows, everything is going to be about what happens in the spring. Everything is about building the best version of this team to win 16 games after April 17th or 18th, whatever the last regular season game is. And there's been, for Glenn Gulson and his staff, they've been building towards it. They've started. I'd be fascinated to hear Kirgoli's thoughts on the next kind of. He went before the season started. He said, "Okay, hey, well, you want to add 1% per game." Does he think they've added 10? They've played 9 games now, right? Is that
Yep.
the number?
Yep.
Does he think they've added 9% of toughness? Right. I know that's a hard quantifiable thing, but he said, "Hey, we want to add 1% per game." So I would be fascinated to hear his answer on. Have we added have you gone and done that? Have you done that? And I think there are elements that they have. I don't know completely, but I mean, we talked about a game against Columbus last week. So,
Sean, I had a random thought this morning while I was seeing Stars, and I got off and I started drawing. I wondered if there was a way, coming off of last night's game.
Yeah.
I sat there, and then there's a lot of conversation going on around Steven Stamkos and about, not scoring the goals and all this kind of stuff. My philosophy or feeling on that, they don't have the right personnel in Nashville that can get Steven Stamkos the spot that he wants that puck. Kucherov could do it, Braden Point could do it, and Hedman could do it. So Stamkos has to have the puck in a certain spot. Rantanen is a great passer.
Mm-hmm.
Wyatt Johnston is a great passer.
Yeah.
Robo can put the pucks in certain areas. Can you? And I don't think it can fit. I don't think it. But would you, if you could fit it in and not give up too much, which there's 10 other teams that are feeling the same way. Can you imagine if Stamkos was over there on that left faceoff circle, especially on a power play where you have Wyatt Johnston, Robo could be taking one-timers from here. Rantanen is the guy that can put it through seams on the tape. And do you ever see a scenario, and I don't know if they're not happy with them or frustrated or what do you think that could ever happen? And would it be a dumb move for Dallas to do that now? Is it too late or maybe too soon because it's not all there yet?
Yeah. I would. The problem for Dallas is just making it work, right? Like in a conceptual world, yes, 100% on the ice. I could definitely see how it works. And honestly, Dallas also checks one of the key boxes that Stamkos had. Why, when Stamkos left Tampa, he made it pretty clear he was going to a tax-free state, right? So that was something where Dallas would check that box for him as well. The issue is, you talk about long-term planning and the money and everything like that. I don't know how you get it done without.
What did he sign? Did he sign for 3 years or? And I don't even know his dollar amount. Was it like $6 million or $5 million? Was it even that high? I didn't know if he signed a long-term one. I'm sure.
Looking it up right now. Keep going.
Say 5.
You guys keep talking while I'm looking it up. Let's not go silent.
I'd like
to have the answer in front of me.
He signed $8 million AAV, and he has this year plus 2 more.
Yeah,
so it's
$8 million.
He's
Oh, way higher than I
4
thought.
by 8.
Okay.
Wow.
So
Probably not going to work.
No, like how are you going to fit $8 million in without?
You're not.
Without and then on top of
without
that,
subtraction.
And how do you do it without? And how do you do it with keeping someone else? I mean, here's where it works, Luds, and it doesn't work because of the spot of you talked about that vision of having. If you got the distinction from Jason Robertson's camp that, hey, F you guys, I'm not coming back for anything less than $16 million. I'm just picking a random number out. I want to be clear on that. And that's what Jason Robertson's camp says. I'm Kirill Kaprizov. I'm more durable than Kirill Kaprizov. I should be close to his number. If that was the stance Jason Robertson's camp took, all of a sudden you're like, okay, if Jason Robertson out for Steven Stamkos would be my kind of break glass scenario, but there's no other way.
Question T.O. just said. There you go. Theo just asked that same question. Would you
The
do
answer to that is no,
One for
not
one?
currently.
No.
Nope.
One for
No,
one,
I-
one for one. No, but if I couldn't keep, but if I could not keep Jason
Yeah.
Robertson, it meant 3 years of Steven Stamkos. I mean, sorry, an additional 2 years.
2
of Steven
years.
Stamkos.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Yeah, and the only reason I went there, and for the reason, I mean, Robo's a better complete player at his age and where he is right now. Stammer would be the kind of guy he's that hired gun to stand over in that faceoff dot, and you know what I mean. And I know he can do other things, but it just makes things more dangerous. But it was more of a.
Imagine the one-timers with
That's my point.
Brandon and Stamkos on each side.
And see, if you had Stammer over there, and then you had Wyatt who comes into the top, and you have Mikko down to the right hand side of the goaltender. Mikko can throw passes through people to Stamkos over here on the where Tyler Sagan's circle would be. He can throw out to the high slot where Wyatt can take a one-timer from there. And then what I would do is I would have Wyatt drop down to the goal line to the left of the goaltender, and I'd have Stamkos come to where Wyatt was. And then now all of a sudden to kill against that, but again, this
Barry
is a pipe
Trotz
dream.
has to be
I get
scratching
that.
his head.
But this is
because
when I was really dizzy this morning.
here's the Barry Trotz problem, because he's sitting there going, okay, I got Stamkos here. I got Philip Forsberg.
You can't cover
I got Roman Josi. I got Ryan O'Reilly in front of the net. I got Jonathan Marchessault. So that's 5 really high-level players. How can that not work?
Well, because they can't put the puck where Stamkos wants it. They're not precision passers, like, in my opinion, like Rantanen is. And Wyatt can put the puck where you want it. You know what I mean? And Robo can put the puck
See, I'm
there.
sitting there thinking,
I
Josi
don't think
could do that,
those
couldn't
guys, they have not put the puck. You watch how many times he has to double clutch, because Stamkos is the kind of guy that doesn't get set when the puck is coming to him. He's already loaded up. Yeah. And it's got to be in a certain spot in his feet. You can't put it on this tape, because that's not where he wants it. He doesn't shoot it. He wants it in his feet. He takes a half a step and he steps into it. And he had 3 guys there that played with him for 10 years. I know exactly where he wants it. And, and I just think that Rantanen could do that. I think Wyatt could do that. Like I said, I think that could happen here. Unfortunately, $8 million a year, even if the team picked up half of it, if Nashville picked up half, it ain't happening.
Yeah. I'm curious, any of you
and
guys.
And this is not alcohol. So it's just.
Are you guys surprised at all that Tyler Seguin doesn't hit one-timers more often like he used to? And is that an injury thing? Because he had
or
one
a
of the
health
better,
thing, you
or
mean.
that's what I mean.
Yeah.
He had previous health or what.
He
Maybe
used
he
to
doesn't
have one
power,
of the elite
and he just doesn't
releases.
really do it anymore. He does it every day before practice, and I've seen him
he
do it.
still looked
maybe
good in
3
practice.
times.
You want me to answer your question?
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm really curious.
Can we go back and show him where Tyler Seguin shot that one last night?
That wasn't a one-timer. That was a Space Jam launch.
But those shots for him weren't going in recent seasons.
Yeah,
right?
just
The
interesting
one-timer,
to think of, because he was a weapon on that side.
You
on the
would
power
set him
play,
up, and he would
not
just
anymore.
unload. And
when is the last? And I think Tyler has found a really nice adjustment curve in his game and becoming that reliable middle six, higher upper middle six level center in coming off the injury. But realistically, when you think of Tyler's kind of superstardom and the guy when he was that kind of that had those superstar moments, what's the last Tyler Seguin superstar moment you think of? Just seriously, because every player has it. Every player has that last moment.
Yeah.
And then they kind of have to adjust, right? Like, and it's like, so I have one in my head, obviously, but I'm curious for you guys.
I think of like the Cal. I'm trying to think of it after that it happened, but the Calgary game where him and Jamie went off.
Well, he had Jamie had 6 points and Tyler scored 4 goals, I think,
or something like that. Like, I don't remember a lot.
That was a long
that
time ago.
point.
He had a couple of was it an overtime win in Boston?
Yep. That was 2017, I think.
What series was it where they were down 2-1? I think the Calgary maybe, and he scored a goal. I think it was Big Rick scored a goal, and
that was in the bubble.
Yeah, the bubble.
Yeah, and Seguin had his skate on the blue.
Oh, the groin stretch.
Yes, that's
in
what
the
they've been
Edmonton
saying
bubble
all time.
The don't be
series.
offside stretch by Seguin. Yeah. That was
For
2020.
me, yeah, I mean,
5 years ago.
To go back to my point on that, like the last kind of moment I can remember in my head of just like the vivid memory for me of like the peak Tyler Seguin. Hey, this is a guy who every time he steps on the ice, he can do something like this. He controls the game. He tilts it when he wants. Things that Mikko Rantanen does now. Things that Wyatt Johnson is starting to do now, right?
Yep.
Overtime in Montreal in 2019. Overtime in Montreal in 2020. I think it was 6 or 7 games before the world shut down.
Yes.
And Overtime game in Montreal.
The Montreal game.
What a goal.
And Tyler just in 3-on-3 overtime, and it was a vintage moment of you're like, this is why this guy was a top 2 pick in the draft. This is why this guy was so feared. This is why people will talk about this guy forever. Tyler has, it's one of those like funny moments where, and I think like my buddy Steven Meserve wrote a really fascinating piece about this once in a book I'm going to tease because I wrote it with him called "We Win Here" about the Texas Stars. But it's kind of, you never know the last kind of, it's office line, Sam. How do you know you're in the good? You need to know, you need to be told you're in the good times so you don't miss them. That's the office
Or you
line,
laughed.
right?
Yeah.
Yes. And so like Tyler had his last superstar moment in Montreal for me in that overtime game. He is now the veteran who's had to find a new game and adjust it, and he's done a good job with that. But
Absolutely.
no longer has that club in the bag. It's just like, it's to use the proper golf analogy here. There's a reason when you go golfing with your 65-year-old uncle where he's not hitting bombs off the tee, he's just hitting 3-woods 180 yards straight down the middle every time, and it's annoying as hell, and he still beats you. That's what Tyler is at the point in his career right now. So
in golf as well.
That was my grandfather who would hit it half the distance down the fairway, hit one another like 50 yards from the green, roll it on and putt in for par while I went way down here in the rough, way over here, way over here. Like, what happened? All right. Up next, we're going to do the 3 Dallas Stars of the week here on the DLS Stars podcast.
Did I go first on this one or second?
Oh, it's Sean.
Hey,
Newsletter Sean. Oh, that's right. I didn't change it here.
That's why I kind of started saying newsletter last time.
Yeah, that was me.
We're going to talk about the free newsletter, alldls.com/newsletter. For those who are listening on audio platforms, you can't see that wonderful text on the screen right there. The DLS newsletter, it's great. I read it this morning. It gets you caught up on everything you need to know about DFW sports Monday through Friday. What happens in Stars World, Cowboys World, which is not fun right now, so maybe you don't want to read that part. But the Mavericks are fun. They won last night. So you get everything in that newsletter. It comes right into your inbox when you're trying to avoid work, and we all do it. We're all trying to avoid work early on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday morning even. We're all trying to avoid work. And we are now going to, you now get to go to the newsletter and not get distracted by texts from your co-host like Owen sent me while I'm in mid-read. To that you can get your newsletter, your DLS news on the top of your inbox. Do it, alldls.com/newsletter.
Thank you, Sean. And I noticed that I didn't comment on the text you sent me before that, which I didn't get distracted about, but now you're making me in response to you getting distracted about me texting you.
Oh man.
Let's talk about being a diehard. So many reasons you should sign up to be a diehard. One of them is you get access to all the articles that are written by these 2 clowns and everybody else here at DLLS. In fact, we even saw Tim Cato, who's now a national writer for ALLCITY. But Ron, the new writer for the Mavs, we of course have Clarence with the Cowboys, who was in Denver yesterday for that Cowboys debacle, and Jeff Wilson, who covers the Rangers. We have you covered for the Big 4 sports in DFW, and free t-shirt for signing up for your first year, like at this DLS shirt. Look at Luds has got a great Skyline DLS shirt on. The new Face-Off collection.
Buy
you
the
could
new one.
Sign up in that, and Luds will, and then show up at Hooters on December 7th, and you will get a beer from Luds.
This shirt is green.
It is a green shirt, by the way. Confirmed by GM Ben.
Yes, it is
green.
a green shirt.
And even though our DLS Stars takeover is sold out, you can still maybe just happen to be at Hooters when we're there.
Wearing the shirt.
Or at the game, we'll be in a section sitting with everybody that bought tickets. But only those that have tickets will be able to come in studio, sign our diehard wall, and watch us pre-tape our pregame show that day. Stars and Penguins. Okay.
Bing bang.
Oh, we have another super chat.
Heck
I was
yeah.
just going to get to the 3 Dallas Stars of the week. Ardell with
We'll get it
a
tomorrow.
Sador and Ludwig. He even spelled it out. Any chance Ben is back for November 4th at the AAC? That's when Edmonton is in town for the first time. Hi, Evan Bouchard. I think some fans underestimate Ben's value to this team. I don't think Jamie's going to be ready for that, but he did start skating last week.
Yes, he started skating. The only interesting part that we don't know is that the weird part about this injury is once he starts, it's supposed to be a rapid.
That's what
recovery.
Gully said.
Yeah, like it's not something where like once he's good to go, it's about getting him up to conditioning shape and ready to play the game, not worrying about lingering effects. But the other thing Luds brings up is age and things like that, and we really don't know the answer.
In the flight and the pressure for the airplane, right?
Yes.
Like there is the weirdness of that, which is good that they're obviously going to take all that into consideration, but there might be an element of, you know what, he looks great on the ice and everything like that, but probably that lung is not in a spot where you should deal with the altitude pressure of getting on an airplane. So
what if there's a circumstance that he could return, play home games, but not travel?
Yeah.
If that's a possibility, or if they'll wait until he's fully cleared for both before he gets back on the ice. Be interesting to see. All right, let's talk about the new weekly segment we started last week, which is our 3 Dallas Stars of the week, where we pick our 3 stars of the week of the Dallas Stars, which we had to do because last week with the losses, Sean picked 3 non-Dallas Stars, and I didn't disagree with him. I thought Matt Boldy had a great game against the Stars a week ago. But this is from games from this past week. And again, for all those of you that were on Twitter complaining that their week starts on Sunday and goes Sunday through Saturday, this is the NHL week we're talking about. The NHL week is games that start on Mondays and go through the weekend. We're not having a Gregorian calendar argument or whether your week starts on Monday, Sunday, Saturday. It's okay, Luds. Don't worry about it. Let's go through our picks. So we start with Luds. And once again, we have a new bit. So we're going to start with this, Luds. I don't want you to describe them. We're going to let our folks in the chat try to guess 1, 2, and 3 stars based on these pictures. And we'll come back. We'll revisit this at the end. So now let's go to the next one, Ryan.
I don't know.
You can try to guess at the end.
I only know one of them.
So Sam has Mikko Rantanen as his 1st star, Jason Robertson as his 2nd star, and Wyatt Johnston as his 3rd. Sam, defend yourself, sir.
Yeah, to me,
star, Sam, you must not like him.
To me, and this really isn't a slight against anyone else. These are the only 3 guys that I think have really driven play on a consistent basis. And Tyler Seguin has a great game here. Jake Ottinger has a good game or 2 there. But these 3 for me, and Mikko, I mean, we should just expect him to be the 1st star in most weeks, I feel like, because he is just driving play. Even when he doesn't have a ton of points, he is the guy that drives the play for them. And sometimes it's taking a penalty just to get the team to wake up. But I've loved the way he's played along with Wyatt and Robo.
Yeah, I mean, I think you could pick those 3 every week on most weeks because of their consistent threat, especially right now. The thing that's amazing to me is Mikko Rantanen was tied for the team lead in points this week. And he was, 4, 5, 6, 7th in scoring chances. His game is so much more than just shooting pucks from dangerous areas.
Yeah. Figures out a way to drive the play. I mean, I don't know if it was last night or the game before that. At some point, he just says, I'm going to go here. And he just takes it through 3 or 4 guys. Luds was talking about just let him do his little shimmy shake here and go through the middle. And he opens up things when there's nothing else there. Like in the play where we're telling him not to dangle through 4 guys at the blue line. He does it anyway. So he's everything they thought he would be. 2
of the 4 games last week, he did not, by my tracking, have a scoring chance. But he ended up with a team high 4 points. And I don't think there was any of those games where you said, boy, I didn't notice Mikko Rantanen out there on the ice in terms of driving the play.
Hard not to.
All right, let's go to Sean's or mine, whichever one you have up there next, Ryan. Sean's 3 stars. He has Mikko Rantanen 1, Wyatt Johnston 2, and Colin Blackwell 3.
Love it.
Sean, your thoughts on why these 3?
Well, the first 2 we just spoke about quite a bit with Sam, and so I'll just talk about number 3. For me, it was it came down to a discussion of either Casey DeSmith or Colin Blackwell for number 3, and I went with Blackwell because you can't win back-to-back games if you don't win the first game of the back-to-back, because I thought when this team needed and I know they were down 2-0 against Carolina. Let's be clear. I know they were. But what I thought when this team, after having lost 4 straight, one of those in overtime to LA, they come in, they play against Carolina. I thought Colin Blackwell's opening shift was really important it was both important for the team, for the fans in the building of we're not accepting a 4-game losing streak. And so that's why I'm giving Colin Blackwell on that, for just on that shift alone. I was close to giving going with Casey DeSmith for what he did yesterday, but you can't win back-to-back games if you don't win the first one. So that was my tiebreaker for Blackwell getting number 3.
Sean,
All right.
Sean, for future ones, there are multiple people that want your 3 villains of the week. So maybe
he did it last
maybe
week.
you can
He's
give us
3
the 3
villains.
villains as part of your segment.
I tried to give my 3 villains, but they didn't make it through the filter. I was told to make it 3 stars players.
You know what? I
in,
changed my mind. I like that idea.
Ryan would like Sean's 3 villains.
We
of the
do
week.
the stars, and Sean does villains.
I love that idea, actually.
I mean, it's
Sorry, Sean.
it's
fitting
very
to
apropos
personality,
for Sean to be picking the villains of the week. All right, my picks were very similar, but just like Sean, I was thinking about Casey DeSmith, and I picked him because what a performance in his second start of the year. And I think you have to grade goalies, especially a backup, with his one game counts as more compared to skaters because he just isn't going to play them all.
Yep.
And so if he has one great game, it's got to be worth 2 or 3 just because of his more limited role because he's not going to play 82 games. Wyatt and Robo were the top 2 chance generators. Most scoring chances were those 2. Robo was 1, Johnson was 2. They had 19 and 18 by my count during the week. Believe it or not, Miro was the 3rd and actually got lower as the week went along, but started scoring later in the week. But I really thought that Casey had a huge bounce back performance. He didn't have a lot of time. He limited practice time, and yet that's Casey DeSmith, what we saw last year when he was so good for so much. I didn't think he would look great in the Vancouver game, but boy, was he good in Nashville the other day. So let's go to Luds. Ryan, do you have the one that yes, that one. Sam, you wanted to take a crack at this. Clue. You have no idea these.
I know the 3rd, right?
Okay. So what's the 3rd one?
Robertson.
Okay.
I think I know the second. I think I know the
Sean.
second.
Sean's going to know for sure.
Is the second one, is that Wyatt Earp? Is that a Wyatt Earp?
That is Wyatt Earp. Very good.
Oh.
I actually got this because I said something to Ryan. Ryan didn't want to tell me, but I told him what I saw from the helmet. Do you want any guesses, Sam? Or
wait, where's that? He wants to know. He says,
I don't know who that is.
He wants to know.
You don't know who Wyatt Earp is?
He doesn't understand
what is
why
happening.
it's Wyatt Earp.
Oh my goodness!
No, I know. I'm assuming that's Wyatt Johnston, but
Yes.
who is Wyatt Earp?
You don't know who Wyatt Earp is?
No. You guys look at the picture. How am I supposed to know who that is? I don't even know a guy from 1990 TV
American
show.
history.
Oh, I failed out of school.
He's a
gunslinger.
a famous
okay.
lawman back in the Wild West.
All right, I love it.
And
You
also,
better say your prayers, you flea-bitten varmint.
he's also the subject. Remember the movie Tombstone? Did you ever see Tombstone?
No.
Oh, what a great movie. All right, Sam, do you have any guesses on the one on the left?
I really don't.
So what can you tell us literally what's on that helmet?
5 stars. 4 stars.
Okay, 4 stars. And what kind of helmet is that?
It's a military helmet.
Okay, so if you have 4 stars on a military helmet, what does that signify?
I don't know the rank.
It would be a general.
General.
Okay, so.
Oh, so it's the general insurance.
Not a sponsor.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good guess.
My guess, and Ryan already told me I was right because he didn't want to tell me, but then I said, he goes, yeah, it's got to be the Moose because he is in charge. He runs things.
He's the guy driving the bus.
There's Luds, 3 stars
in
of
a
the
million
week.
years would have gotten that.
Yeah, and I just you could put these 3 guys up. For me, you could put them up here every game that they've played this year. And I know you could mix them in and out. And what is interesting to me is the only one that picked, a not top 6, top 3 player was Sean, right? And so Colin's on there. There's no defenseman on there. And so I think that's a good thing, to be honest with you, and you're not winning games by 3-4 goals. So to me, when your offensive guys end up being stars, they're buying in.
Wyatt Earp. Yes, Sean.
Yeah, there
Luds,
you go.
I had 2 guys I considered before I picked Casey DeSmith as my 3rd star of the week. Sam Steele, who broke a long goal drought, and he had 2-3 scoring chances every night. Again, maybe a process of being on that line, but then Essa Lindell, team high +2 over the week and had an assist. He's not going to be the flashy point producer, but boy, he continues to just do everything. And so
he's just steady.
He was on my honorable mentions. I ended up giving Ranton in my honorable mention, but I was thinking about Essa because a lot of times I think he's an unsung hero for this team.
Yeah, and unfortunately, that's called the 4-star.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the honorable mention.
Yeah.
That's a Montreal award.
Lastly, really quickly here, guys, huge week. We have maybe Ovechkin's last trip to Dallas. Dylan Strome is hurt and will not make the trip, so we won't see him tomorrow night. And then the Stars are at Tampa and at Florida. as they finish up this 3-game week that we know Luds loves these Stars' upcoming schedules. So
What schedule?
That's the game schedule for the week. Caps
Where?
at home tomorrow.
Halloween night.
Lightning.
Capitals. Wear your costume.
No. Oh yeah, and we're doing costumes on Thursday
Yep.
at Lightning game.
Yep.
Sean will be here on the Wednesday show, which we have a daily. We're off on Friday, and we have all sorts of NHL news and notes we won't get to. Except I want to just throw out there, Tyler Seguin is 2 games away from his 1,000th career NHL game. More on that as we get closer to that one. Could be Thursday in Tampa. For Craig Ludwig, Sam Nessler, Sean Shapiro, I'm Owen Newkirk. Huge thank you to Ryan. I have not yet gotten frustrated and quit the show, Vaughters. We'll see you tomorrow night for the pregame show. It's a national game tomorrow night. So we will be on for a 6:45 pregame show. ESPN has the broadcast, Stars and Caps.
Gunslinger.
This is DLS.
45 tomorrow night?
Look at the beard.
We all silly like the mayor.